Got your systems in order? About ready to find out. Oh, ain't nothing like a system, right? And nothing like a good system to keep things running, to achieve your goals, to get where you want to be, right? Think about where you are right now. Take a look around. Where you at? What's your current experience when you're listening to this? Give you a minute. Just kind of just I'll take a minute too. I'm sitting in my office in Carbondale, Illinois. I've got an apartment here. I don't have to mow lawns. I don't have to do maintenance, do none of that. I show up every day and I go to the gym and work out and I record podcasts. I work on my book and I'm just like grinding. I've got a bunch of things, irons in the fire, and it's cool as hell for me. What about you? Where are you at this morning? Um, is it a good system? Are you working a pretty good system right now? That's kind of an interesting question. I don't think there's probably some of you out there that are going, yeah, I'm a little confused by this. And that's because in part it makes sense. I mean, to an engineer style thinker like myself, I love to look at assemblies. I look at life a lot like a set of Legos. So that definitely makes it easy because all of a sudden you're just kind of looking for the right piece. You're like, well, if I want a podcast to be popular, of course, I have one piece would be having the audio quality pretty good, and then of course the other piece would be have the video quality good, have some good light so they can see who you are. That it feels like a little more personable, right? And then of course have some wonderful content. Now I think I'm 2 out of 3 right now. As it turns out, whatever it is I'm doing, it's it's not that interesting, right? But till I figure out how else to do it, till I come up with a better system for how else to deliver this message, I'll just keep rocking and rolling this. How's that sound? Now, talking about, let's turn this thing around to you. How are you doing? How are your systems doing? Are you keeping them all running? Are they delivering like you want them to? Let's talk about that system you have for having that amazing relationship. Because you know as well as I do, you have a friggin' amazing relationship, right? Of course you do, right? Everybody does. If I ask you, are you happy in your marriage? Oh yeah, oh yeah, yeah. But when you really look at it, it's probably not bringing it to the elevation to that level of happiness that you might otherwise want, right? That you would prefer to have. And of course, that comes down to why. And the answer, you don't have a system for success in that area. You don't have a system for success that's going to take your relationship from where it is to where you want it to be. But we're getting ready to change that. Now we're going to play a little game here. I want to get you thinking. And of course, this is an active, interactive kind of exchange. So yeah, granted, it's you and me, but you can kind of follow along. So what I need you to do is I need you to think about something that you would change in your relationship that you could possibly do that would make it better for you and for your partner. Give me a minute. Think about it. What would it be? If you're struggling with it, if you're struggling with coming up with that, that's definitely not a good sign. Okay, I'm gonna say that out, point that out as well. Not a good sign. You got that idea in your head. I'm waiting. Just go ahead and dig in there. Come on, you got time. All right. I'm gonna pick kindness. If I could add something to my relationship that would increase its productivity and its value, and actually improve it and improve the quality of the product or the outcome as a result, it would be kindness. You added kindness or love or generosity to the elements of success or a successful system in your relationship, kindness would be work. So would love. So would empathy and consideration and trust and time, time, time spent listening, time spent talking, time spent sharing, time spent dreaming. Right. And as a result, what do you suppose would happen in your relationship? Let's just say that we just jumped on the kindness thing, and you told your partner every day, you talked to God and you prayed for help or the universe, and you asked for as much energy and help as you could get, and then you talked to your partner and you told them, I promise to be kind to you every day. I promise to be kind to you today. How long do you think it would take you before that just became the new habit, the new you? It wouldn't take that long, and the reason and the way you achieve that goal is by having a system that takes you there. What would be a system? System of something that reminds you of your commitment, something that's within your realm that influences you to remember that you have committed to your partner to be kind to them every day. Something, what would it be? A stone in your pocket with kindness written on it, a image on a mirror, words on a mirror with words kindness to my partner on it. Just anything. Maybe a song you just, or maybe a reminder every hour, be kind, be kind, be kind, whatever it takes. And it doesn't even matter. That's as personal and as unique as you are. And what do you suppose would happen? That system would quickly become real effective. Before you know it, you'd be being kind to everybody, not just your partner, but everybody. She wouldn't cry. She'd actually be weirded out. She'd be like, "How come how come you're not being mean to me to the point I cry anymore?" Huh? And of course, the answer would be what you're looking at, what you're pointing to, what your system is designed to produce. I talk about parenting. I talk about relationships. Let's talk about some bigger systems, because I got to tell you, I'm not the only one that knows about this, and that's the scary part about it. There's some stuff coming, and the ability to manage and develop really precise systems is on its way. You better get ready. You better embrace what's coming. I've never been known to be the smartest guy in the room. I am not. I'm more of a clown. I kind of like to laugh and have fun, and I don't know if you're picking that up, but it's kind of fun. I go to my kids' house, and we have dinner, and of course I'm just joking and yucking it up, and it's just because it's so easy, right? It's so easy just to look at the world around you and laugh about it and be appreciative of where you are, right? But you bring this conversation in the gist of it, right? In the gist of it, everything we do for a lot of us is centered around the standard that's been set for us. And that's the most difficult part about affecting true change in your life. I mean, let's face it. I talk about living your best life, and I say, well, you could spend time on the beach, and people, I can't spend time on the beach. I live in Kansas City. Well, yes, you can. You just have to develop a system for transition in your life from Kansas City to the beach. What would that look like? Well, it'd start with get your supercomputer, that phone, get that supercomputer up, and check it out. Start searching for things you would not need to do. Maybe learn about where you'd want to go. Pick something, just like you pick the house, the car, the kids, all that, right? And then start doing research. Start thinking about it. Maybe give you a reminder. Put a stone in your pocket. Put some words on the mirror. Brush your teeth, think about it, put a number by it, talk about it with your partner, invite your partner, share the dream, make sure it's a dream that they would be all into as well. That kind of guarantees success, or at least significantly increases it, right? And before you know it, what will happen is that thing will become a reality. And it's not indicative upon you standing there at the edge of the cliff deciding to jump. No, that's not how this thing works. By the time you approach the cliff and decide, hey, it's time to have an amazing relationship, and you start doing those things, and you're committed to those things, it's not you standing there at the cliff being scared. It's you're running off that cliff. Like, yeah, it's time. That's how Sandy and I did it. I mean, you want to talk about massive change, moving the world. That's what's possible when you understand the dynamics of building a great system. Sandy and I traveled around the country in an RV for 7 years. And you want to talk about systems. In my system, I actually designated 7 years as the amount of time we were going to live in that RV. We were going to own that RV. Now, this is ironic. We sold our RV and drove away from our RV 7 years to the day that we bought it. Now that that is a system. Let's talk about how you move big mountains with a great system. Now, you may not appreciate this, but I am a liar. I lie. I lie out my ass. I do. I'm a liar. I'm always lying. And you know I'm lying to? I'm lying to myself. I go to the gym because I know I'm a badass old man. In my mind, I'm a badass old man. And granted, I'm able to accomplish some things that most 62-year-olds aren't really getting done. I mean, I can put a kick on a bag that will rattle it. And of course, rolling on the ground and wrestling with people who are younger than me, I can see myself being a badass old man. And why is that important? Because whether or not that's true is irrelevant. And more significantly, whether or not you believe it's true is irrelevant. I don't believe it, don't believe it. My reason for believing that, it comes down to one simple fact, and that is by believing that, it inspires me to be that. When I think about not going to the gym, I kind of get embarrassed with myself. Kind of get embarrassed because I'm thinking that doesn't make a bit of sense. If you need to incorporate an amazing story that you just, believe it or not, you can't let go. You are talking about it. You're envisioning it. You're talking about it. And the way to tell if you're on the right track is if everyone around you, everyone who hears your story tells you you're crazy. I'm not talking about anything radical. When Sandy and I decided to sell our house and move into our RV, we were developing a system, and the first thing it was based on was education. We needed to know a lot about this. We didn't know a lot about it at all, and there was a lot of unknowns when we started out. So we started watching videos and reading books and asking questions and talking to people and looking at RVs and oh. Want to move a mountain in your life? Let's say that you're not making enough money, or here's a big one. Let's just say that your relationship is at the point where you're like, I'm done with this. And I'm not suggesting that that's a good thing. I believe, aside from a few unacceptable behaviors on the part of one person or the other, I think most relationships have the potential to be saved, right? Um, but when you look at how you get where you are in your relationship and how you take it to where you need to be, it all comes down to around that pivotal point, and that is, what is the possible or the likely outcome of that decision, that element of your system? And again, back to the idea that I don't do dishes. I've heard guys say that. I'm like, oh, I don't do dishes. Really, you eat. You do. You eat. I know you eat because look how fat you are. Oh, I said that, didn't I? But it's true. You eat. So you probably should do some dishes. I don't know. Oh, the world works for you. Oh, I see. Well, no, I work. I go out in the world and I work every day. Oh, I see. I get that. All right. Well then I guess that makes sense, then, doesn't it? Yes, of course. No, it doesn't. Think about the goal. How about the goal is to show up at home every night after a hard day's work and have her or him smiling at you, happy to see you, excited about where you guys are together, excited about what the evening looks like. How would you impart that? How do you create that? Me and my wife had a lot of trouble, but the one thing we didn't have trouble with it is building a cohesiveness about our relationship. There were times when I did not like my wife, and there were times when she didn't like me. But amid all that, guess what? We followed the system, and that was we go to work, we don't abuse each other, and we work continually off of a platform of kindness. Did it always go that way? No. That's partly because of another system. All right, so what other system could I be talking about? Well, the system of our evolution. All right, I know you think you're an original, right? Everybody thinks they're an original, and maybe you are, but I I'm not buying it. See, as a kid, I had some insight. As a kid, I was looking at the system, and the system I was involved in back then was my mom and dad getting a divorce, and then my mom bringing men in and out of my life, and it just going to hell, right? It just being crap, right? And so when I when I think about that, I look at that system and I like, didn't make any sense. And of course, as a young man, I was kind of in tune with happiness because I lacked it. I wasn't the most jovial child. I had a lot of baggage, right? So I was really in tune with happiness. And what I noticed was most of the people that were around me weren't didn't seem to be that happy. And of course, as an adult, even now, that's even more compounded. Now, interest rates and inflation, and oh my God, and yeah, right, all of that. And I'm thinking, why is that? And it's because of a system that has been imparted on us over generations. Think about it. Why do you own a house? Do you honestly want to tell me or tell the world or tell your friends, oh, I'm an original. Oh, yeah, I came up with that idea. No, you didn't. No, you didn't. Finance companies did. Banks did. Rich men who had land and money who developed these strategies for basically enslaving us, given an opportunity to work for the rest of our lives. And why does that work? Well, because interest. I mentioned this the other day, but it's worth repeating. When you talk about systems on the other side, think about the banking system. What's the system do? What does the system do? The banking system siphons off cash from the people they serve as a service. And the only service that they actually provide is to give us a digital place to keep our money. Huh. And then when we buy the house, because there's a system, that's the reason you bought the house, is because, well, look, this is a system. It's called a cul-de-sac or a suburbia. And these houses, there's a system for these houses. They're built and then they're sold. And then you move in and then you grow grass. And of course, you somehow or another, something in all that mix, you forget that grass isn't that friggin' much fun to grow. But it's a pretty good system. I mean, if I were to tell you, really, that's the best you can do is grow grass on the front yard and then spend your weekends mowing it. You can't think of something even a little bit better to do with your time. Be like, oh, get out of my business. I'm happy. Yeah. That's a pretty damn good system when they can trick you into spending more time doing shit you hate than stuff you love. How would you like to change that? How about we change that system completely? We add some elements to that system that make it work in your favor. You ready for that? Because that's where it really counts. It doesn't matter what you face or what's going on in your life. The reality is what you do about it. What you're able to do, a change you're able to affect in your life that will actually allow you to modify that system. It's all about making the shoes fit. All right, so I'm gonna jump off a cliff here, and I'm gonna be a little bit hypothetical. Let's pretend hypothetically that you're going to the store and you wear a size 8 work boot. All right, got a size 8 work boot, but you go to the store and you're looking at these boots and you get them and you pick them out and you're headed down the aisle, but the boots progressively get larger. And you get to the end of aisle and there's a size 16 boot. And you look at your boots, that boot is twice the size of your boot. You look around, you think, wow. And it's the same price. What? More boot for the same. Why wouldn't you take those size 8s back and get you a size 16, and then you could just make an additional set of boots out of them, or you're getting more boot, for God's sake. You could do something with that extra stuff. It's definitely a better deal, more volume. And the answer, of course, is obvious. The reason you wouldn't do that is because the boots, the 16s, will never fit. It doesn't fit. It doesn't make sense. It doesn't fit. Right? Now keep that idea in your mind. Let's go ahead and apply that to some of the choices we make. So there you are. You are a guy that loves golf. You've always loved golf. You were on the golf team in high school. You were in a tournament. You were a place. You placed. You won a few, and golf was your thing, right? And you're coming along and you're rolling along, and your first mistake is you go to fall in love, but you don't know all the rules. You don't know the criteria of having a good system. So a system for relationships at the onset, if you don't have one yet, is that you would pick someone who is truly not superficially, but truly kind of inspired by what you do because they do it too. Maybe like let's say, for instance, back to golf. Hypothetically, let's say that that person loves golf as much as you do, and you're like, oh wow, you like golf? Yeah, probably a good chance that a place where you could find a person like that would be a golf course, golf shop, a golf. I mean, I don't vouch, right? Imagine how much easier, how much smoother your system would run if that was your sidekick, if that became the person that was like running their side of the ship and trying to make your life easier. Yeah, sure it would, right? Right? Well, moving to that, that's an element, that's a significant element of making sure the stuff in your life fits. If you love golf, you kind of want to fit your partner in that loves golf or supports it, or, there's got to be a connection there where there's no angst about your love of that particular thing, right? But you think about back to those boots, that's part of what fits, right? I don't, I wouldn't begin to tell you what your life should look like. Not my job. Don't want any part of that. I'm here for one simple reason. It's to show you how to put it in line so you can evaluate what your life looks like. And that requires a system. Chances are you're not spending any time with yourself. Chances are you're not examining on a regular basis any aspect of your life with a true and defined intention to make it better. And the only way you're going to start growing and better than that, the only way to make life easier and actually capture that thing we all seem to want is start spending some time looking at your system and then building it around who you are. If you love fishing, admit it, accept it. If you love skiing, accept it, admit it, write it on your mirror. Write it on the mirror. I love skiing. Want to ski as much as possible. I love fishing. And why do I say that? Well, because when you do things that you enjoy, that inspire you, that energize you, that you'll work for, and then you do it, and you're satisfied enough that you think about doing it again, and then you repeat the process. When you engage in those type of activities, guess what happens? You get fuel, you get energized. You start looking at other opportunities because you're energized. Your eyes are open and you feel the blood rushing and you're excited and you have a reason to get up in the morning and you work hard for it, but it's great. When you think about the perfect system, that is an element of any system you choose to create for yourself in any direction. If you have a relationship with someone you love, maybe your brother, your sister, whatever, and as a part of that relationship, every time you have a communication with them, you feel bad or you feel terrible or somehow or another it just doesn't go well, there's a flaw in the system. And unfortunately, when it comes to relationships, oftentimes you can do whatever you can on your side of the system, but if they don't fix the glitch in their system, you're still going to experience the same thing because nothing on their side has changed. They will still interact with you. Now, of course, you can just ignore it. You can ignore it. That's a way to deal with it if that's the path you want to take. But the point is, you have no control over whether they do that or not. Now, the nice part about friendships and partners is they have a vested interest. And of course, so that works a lot better for you. You wake up every day excited and energized about your life. The next step is for you to put the pieces of the puzzle together, examine those pieces. If you have children and they don't listen, they don't conduct themselves or carry themselves in a manner that's acceptable in certain areas of life, like in church or at the table or any other place, then it's probably because your system has a few flaws in it. You can't have a child doing something wrong and the conversation ends with you telling them that how good of a boy they are, how good of a girl. Oh, you're such a good girl. After you've had to correct them and talk to them and talk to them, and all you keep hearing is how much of a good girl or good boy they are, and then nothing changes. The outcome, the goal, is the measure of a good system. You want love in your life? Have a system for sharing it, for sharing love. You want a wonderful relationship? Develop a system for becoming that person that they're truly interested in. They kind of like you. I mean, relationships wane. I figure every 2 years you better throw some spice in it if you want to rock and roll your life. I could sit here all day and talk about it. I'm going to keep going on this. The bottom line is if you take a look at anything in your life you do, anything you face, if you're not seeing the outcome, the results that you want from that thing, it's not because you can't do it. It's because you need to take a look at how you do it. Take actions in a direction with an intention, measure that success, and if it's not where you want it to be, you got to change something. And that applies to how you interact with your partner, with your kids, with the world. And eventually, what you're going to do is you're going to find the recipe, but it starts with wanting something better, being able to imagine something better. I hope that helps. I hope your revamp of your systems works and goes well for you. Almost done here. Got a few things I want to share with you before we call it a day. Wow. Can I do it? Yes, I can. Will I do it? Yes, I will. What are we talking about? I don't know. I'm talking about showing up here. Talking about kind of relaxing, trying to just enjoy this moment with you. Of course, you know, if you look at the numbers, like, well, I'm not me, like I'm the only one. Yes, well, actually, this is exactly true. It's me and you, and because, of course, in my mind at least, because I believe in energy, because we're sharing this, of course, I get a benefit from that. There's something good that's going to come of it, and of course, that's the goal, right? That's why we're here. If you have any inkling to like what I'm doing, share, like, follow, do all that good stuff. Send me some love. I could use all the help I can get. I'm not asking for anything from you. I am honestly, truly, from the heart, trying to give you something. And I'm not going to stop. It makes my life better. It makes the world better. I know that. So until next time, don't forget to share the love. Don't forget to share the kindness. You don't have to be angry with the people around you. You need to be angry with the people above you, because chances are that guy standing next to you in the grocery store is just like you. You need to come up with a system for figuring that out, and the world will get better quick. I guarantee it. Until next time, my name is Chris Hawkes, and this is your Best Life Defined. Have a wonderful day.